Familia de la Mala Religión, ha llegado el momento del lujo de entrevista que tuvo mi partner Matías Figueroa con uno de los ídolos de todo el equipo. Paige Hamilton regresa a Chile en el marco de una gira etiquetada como aniversario del Betty, 30, pero en rigor son 31 años. Pero claramente Matías logró sacar otros rollos a un tipo que es un arquitecto del metal y el rock, el hardcore, como quieran verlo, de los últimos 35 años. Helmet, qué lujo tuviste, Matías.
Para mí fue un honor, una de mis bandas favoritas, el padrino del riff, así que los dejamos con esta entrevista exclusiva de La Mala Religión con Paige Hamilton en La Mala Religión.
Exclusiva de La Mala Religión, pero igual yo hice otra para otra radio, pero para ustedes.
esta es solo para ustedes.
No venda humo como
esta es la de verdad.
Esta
Aquí
es la de
las
verdad,
cosas
compadre. Esta es la de verdad. La otra es practicante de la radio, vale callampa. No, pero fuera de huevo, gran entrevista con Paige
Gracias,
Hamilton.
amigo.
Disfrútenla. La Mala Religión para ustedes.
Yes.
Matthias, nice to meet you.
Me too, man. It's an honor. Huge fan here. And first off, I just want to know, how are you feeling about returning to Chile with the band?
Oh, stoked. We're very excited.
Yeah?
I love it there. Yeah, we love it. And I just can't wait.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk Betty. It's the main reason why you're returning to Chile. It's the 30th anniversary. I can't believe it. It's insane.
Yeah.
What are your feelings? Where would you put Betty in the history of the band? Like, where will you place it as a record?
That's one of my favorites. I mean, you know, like when we gave it to the label, some people were kind of confused. About the artwork and about some of the weird songs on there. But in general, I mean, I think, Wilma's Rainbow and I Know, or whatever, are some of the heaviest songs we've ever done. I Know is about as aggressive as you can get. So I was just like, hey, I'm just trying to, make music, do music that is exciting and fun and interesting for me and not repeat myself, and I think, and my bandmates were great. Like Henry came in with arrangements for, with riffs and parts and stuff for Rolo, Silver Hawaiian, another song called Flushings. Yeah. Which I wish we had put on the album. It's a really cool song.
Because you usually have like different track lists, like sequence. I have the 10-inch vinyl version.
Yeah.
And it has like 3 bonus tracks in the middle of the sequence. I found it fascinating, and I think it's missing the last track, right?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever even. I've seen it. I've signed it.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I don't know that I even know the track listing on there. So that's cool.
There's a couple of bonus tracks and some other stuff mixed in the middle. It's not like bonus.
Oh.
It's part of the I thought it was like a different track list you were trying or something like that. Maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, it was so long ago. I'm sure I sequenced it because I'm very adamant about sequencing. Like I think I'm really good at sequencing albums, like get a flow going or whatever. So I just can't remember what it was on the 10-inch.
Yeah, the 3 songs were Flashing, Thick, and Pariah. And
we'll play Pariah down there. Flushings is too hard for me to sing and play. I have the lyrics right here though.
Really?
I tried to. Yeah, I was gonna try to work on it. It's a hard one.
Yeah. About the show, are you performing the entire album? What's the deal? Are you performing new tracks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll do Betty from beginning to end. I will say nothing. I grew up in the 70s and I've always loved to put an album on, like a record.
Yeah.
And listen to the whole side. And so that's how I approached the Betty thing. Remarkably, we do that, and then in the second set, I'll stop after after we finish the Betty album, I'll stop, say hello, introduce the band, and then I'll talk a couple of times, and then people will yell out, "Stop talking!" I'm like, and I heard this in Philly. I'm like, I said, "Fuck you, man! I just played the whole fucking."
It's part of the experience, right?
Yeah. We just played the whole fucking album without saying a word. You prick! Go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah. I really love when there's like storytelling about the album, about the songs or whatever. It's an really good bonus show. It's great. And especially about touring. I was gonna ask you how is touring now for you? It's something that you enjoy. It's something that it's kind of like, what are your feelings about touring now as it was like in 1994?
It's a lot harder on my body now. I'm 60. I'll be 65 years old in May, and my knees get sore and stuff. It's flying, more than anything, flying and then being on a tour bus. But playing the shows is kind of more fun than ever. Weirdly, like I feel like I know I'm not going to be able to play this particular style of music forever, but as long as I'm, I'll knock on wood, as long as feel like I'm performing at a high level, then I'll keep doing it. The travel wears me out a bit, to be honest. But like we have to go to Europe, we'll fly to Prague in August, and that's a long haul. Yeah. It's same with the flights down there. But as I said, playing the music, more fun than ever.
It's all worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never had more fun. I just feel really lucky to get to do what I love and to get to play songs I've written 31, 32 years ago. Some of these I wrote. It's like.
Right. About that, have you seen like new fans, like younger generations? Have you stumbled upon that? Because there's like a huge like revival from that era, and also like the new metal era, like early 2000s. And I just want to ask you about what are your feelings about this moment that Deftones is having, the revival of new metal and bands that are inspired by your music? Like, what are your feelings about all that?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, the Deftones, it's funny you bring it up because they just played Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago. And it's like, wow.
Yeah,
that's kind of it's kind of mind blowing, right? And Chino told me a couple of years ago they were playing at the Palladium here in LA, and he said, I went back with my friend Johnny Tempesta, and we chatted for a little bit. And he said, he's like, your songs have inspired me lyrically, this thing, this, that, or the other, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool, Yeah. So it's cool. I like to play Madison Square Garden,
Right. All right.
I don't think we're as accessible as the Deftones. It's their music's it's different, I think it's a different kind.
I think it's different circumstances because they have like this blow up on TikTok and they attract this whole like new audience, like younger audience.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that you were seeing some of that in your shows too, like newer generations coming to Helmet and knowing.
Yeah. It's kind of been amazing, like and I'm just thinking like specifically, the shows that are all ages are the ones that I get excited about. Because just seeing kids. And kids are like from, as young as, 9 and 10 years old. And we got 12, 13, 14, 15, like the London show, it was all kid. Down front, they were kids and they're just so into it. It's so much more fun, for us. Like, just like, not that, people that are of our era are not, but they're older and they're more sedate,
Right.
They're not going to get they don't go off as much. They don't have their,
they're not as active in the ritual.
I don't know that I want to play, Betty for the rest of my life,
Right.
But, it's been a good run. It's been fun. We did a 20th anniversary. Now we're doing a 30th anniversary, and it keeps getting, just like the 20th anniversary got extended because there was so much demand. we're going to Australia, New Zealand, and next year to do the Betty thing. So the good news is we have a break in between. We'll do some shows this fall. I think we're talking to Guar. I get Guar for some reason is really hot to trot on taking us out, so I said yes. And that should be interesting. So,
Yeah. So, I was gonna ask you about favorite recording experience of your career, like an album that you feel there was like magic in the air or whatever musicians call it, but
yeah, I mean, like in a weird way, kind of every time you go in the studio, there's some kind of magic. There's like when I think about recording Strap It On, I saved my bartending tips, and I could pay for side one,
right.
And Repetition, Rude, Bad Mood, Sinatra, and then saved another month or 6 weeks of bartending tips and recorded side two.
Yeah.
And that was, but then we did Meantime at the same studio, and that was, fun. Like we did the song In the Meantime with Steve Albini actually in Chicago at the Chicago Recording Company, and I didn't like the version that we did later back in New York as much as I liked the original demo.
Yeah.
So the original demo is what Andy Wallace mixed.
Yeah.
The Betty experience was interesting too. We were at River Sound, and I met Donald Fagen from Steely Dan, one of my heroes.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Gaucho. What about Gaucho is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love Steely Dan. My favorite album is Countdown to Ecstasy.
Oh, okay.
It's just so good. But recording the last album was a dream. I mean, it couldn't have gone more smoothly. Like working with Jim Kaufman, he's my kind of new favorite person to record with. He's my I feel proud to call him a co-producer because he's so talented, and he's half my age,
Right.
and he's got great ears, and he's super passionate, and that album was the easiest album I've ever made. I mean, it was just
left album?
Left, yeah. It was so much fun. I mean,
So that Move On EP is like a compilation you put out in 2021 or something that you just put on streaming?
Yeah, that was really fun. That was a challenge, man. I'm telling you, doing a David Bowie cover. Woo!
That was crazy.
Because that guy,
With him,
the fact what?
You play with him?
I did, yeah, I did. I played lead guitar on the Hours tour, so we got to do Saturday Night Live and the Letterman and Conan, and it was an incredible experience. And he's just on another level. I mean, he's a phenomenal human being. I just felt so lucky to get to play with him. It was a trip. The first day I went in, I had met him at a festival in Germany, and he told me he was a Helmet fan, and I laughed, and I was like, yeah, right. He was so sweet. And then 2 years later, I get a call from him to play lead guitar on the Hours tour, and so met him in the studio that day, and then I think I can't remember. They gave me, I had 2 weeks before our first show, and I had to learn 30 songs in 2 weeks.
Wow. And with David Bowie.
Yeah, and 30 songs covering 30 plus years of his career. So we're talking a lot of different guitar sounds, a lot of different programming and stuff to do. But just that first day, I think, was the most special. Like just he and I at the studio. We were sitting on stools, and there was, monitors, and we didn't have in-ears in, just monitors and my guitar, and we played Quicksand. And it was a fucking trip, man. It was just like, yeah, it was a trip. I was like, oh my God, like this voice is coming. I am now playing music with this voice is, and he's right. It was just a trip. He was such a fucking beautiful guy too. What
a great gift.
Yeah, that was. I learned so much. It gave me a lot of confidence too, because I was like, wow, I'm playing with one of the greatest, songwriters of all time. One of the greatest singers and songwriters of all time.
And he was a helmet fan. That's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also worked with Bono, and he was a Helmet fan. I met at a dinner party with my ex-girlfriend Winona. I met Elton John, and he was my all-time hero when I was 12 years old. And he said he loved Helmet. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. You're that influential, man. Your music is unbelievable. I was talking about it with a friend, and it's way bigger than you think. I believe it's the time that it happened and everything, all the inspiration that it gave to other bands. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the crossover between hardcore and metal and those groups, and there's something that's so unique, and it was so defining. So amazing.
Yeah, I think I've people ask me all the time, like, well, how do you feel about the influence you've had, and I've had heard, talking about the Deftones, Chino telling me that we were a source of inspiration, or like Dimebag from Pantera, or Jonathan and Monkey from Korn have been so humble and beautiful and respectful, and I think all I can say is that we did music, and we do music for the right reasons. We're not doing it to get rich or be famous or whatever. We do music because we love it, and we want to do something that's unique. I always wanted to just sound like me. I love other bands, but that doesn't mean I want to sound like them. I grew up on Led Zeppelin and AC/DC in my later teen years. When I discovered AC/DC, I was just like, what? But for me, there was Aerosmith and Zeppelin, and Ted Nugent before he became a right-wing Nazi. Those first two Nugent albums were great.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
there's inspiration. I know that you don't play that kind of music, but I think there's elements of each and every one of those bands in the music,
for sure.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin for me, the one A&R guy kind of hit the nail on the head. He's the guy that signed Soundgarden. I can't remember his name. He signed Soundgarden to A&M, and they tried to sign Helmet, and he was like, I hear Led Zeppelin. I'm like, that's very astute, because the whole notion of playing, of combining time signatures, and I'll do the simple ones, or 3 against 4, where you're playing, it's
Yes.
So there's 4, there's 3. Here's there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So I'm playing in 4/4 on my left hand, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dun, 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 dun. So that idea I got from it was drilled into my brain from listening to Kashmir so many fucking times.
Yes.
That idea, and so that is that I thought was a very smart A&R guy, because most people won't pick up on that. And I remember talking to people as a bartender, well, what do you like? What do you like? I'm like, I love AC/DC. And then they went to see us play at CBGB's, and I'm like, you guys don't sound like AC/DC. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. We're not trying to sound like AC/DC. Because someone inspires you doesn't mean that you try to be them. It's and AC/DC, another one, Highway to Hell, just going into the second verse, Phil Rudd's, the way he, flips the beat there, and that Phil, it's perfection. It's perfect,
It's undeniable.
Like da da da, because they da da da, and he comes in with the beat on, and that it's just so cool. And like those things stick with you from being a teenager, from being a little kid to a teenager to an adult, and then making music on my own. And I think the fact that we provided that for a generation of musicians that are, in these bands, that's exciting to me. It's like I feel flattered and happy that people, and also that they've come to me, when I've met them face to face and have told me, dude, Jonathan from Korn said, none of us would be here without you, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a cool thing, cool thing to hear. So it's like,
of course, Yeah, I mean, the thing that you said about those bands are there, to me, it's like they're so important to musicians of all ages, because I've heard from so many musicians from different ages, when they discover these bands, they always take something. They always, like, there's a moment in every musician has this moment when they hear classic rock, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. It happened to me. I took what I like about that. It's an influence, but I don't use it all the time. But it's so important for many musicians and many music fans. So,
well, one of my mentors and heroes is a guy named John Stowell. He's up in Portland, Oregon. He's a genius, like, jazz guitarist, and he's talked to me about. He said, Paige, listen, actively. Yeah. And I'm like, I understood what he meant. He said, when you're listening, don't just have music on. Look, you're making dinner with your girlfriend, you put music on. Yeah, that's one thing. But when you listen, that's the activity that you're now engaged in, as if you're playing your instrument. Listen and listen actively. Get inside the music, and that's what I've always been able to do. Yeah. Since I was a little kid, I've been able to do that. Like I remember, America, Horse with No Name, cured car sickness. I was a car sick kid in the back of the station wagon in 1971 or whatever. And, my brother and sister, mom and dad in the front, brother and sister, and I was in the very back because I was car sick. The AM radio playing, I've been through the desert on a horse. And I was just like, I left planet Earth. I went to this place and I got inside that song, and I still hear that song and still get goosebumps, 50 years later or whatever. It's like
one of the great powers of music. I collect vinyl, and that's one of the main reasons that I do it, because I get to spend like 30-40 minutes or an hour listening to a record and deep diving in it, like CDR, where you have to put attention because you have to turn it around. It's the whole ritual. Some people think, oh, it's a ritual, like it's trendy, but no, it's the active listening. That's
absolutely. And that's another thing I love that I kind of miss about the digital world, is the album artwork and stuff that we used to. I'd get a copy of an album and just open it up, and just the whole fucking thing was this great physical graffiti, like looking at the cover and all the people in the windows and everything, and then later moving to New York City, and every time I got home from tour, I would get pizza was the first thing, but then for my next day for breakfast, I'd go to this place called Cafe Mogador on St. Mark's. And it's across the street from the physical graffiti building. Oh. So I would sit and eat my Moroccan eggs and hummus, and I was staring at the album cover from Physical Graffiti. That's the building. It's the exact same building that they used for that album cover. Yeah. And to me, like, I just love that. I love that experience, and I think there's a little bit of a thing in this day and age where music has become almost kind of disposable. Like new album. It's like, it's a new album today, but tomorrow forget it. Forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, is that what we're doing here? That's where you have to listen to fucking, you know, Cardi B and like whatever, like some of the shit that people crank out that has nothing to do with music. Doesn't interest me in the least. But I don't worry about that because I'm you know, it said 65 years old, and I'm still inspired every single day to wake up and pick up my guitar every day, like every day. People are like, why are you so enthusiastic? I'm like, because I love music. I can't wait to play the guitar or hear, you know, I've listened to Thelonious Monk 18,000 times, and I'm gonna, you know, I'll put it on, you know, again tonight. You know, it's like,
I love it.
So,
I love it.
you know, look, life is short, you know.
Yeah.
And like people that take themselves so seriously, or they get recognition for being a rock star or whatever, they're missing out on something. Like if something inspired them at some age to become a musician, right?
Right.
And where do you lose that along the way? You know, like you become, it's like, okay, so you got a mansion in the Hollywood Hills and a guitar-shaped pool, and, you know, everything that you want, you know. There's a great little excerpt on YouTube of John Lennon and George Harrison talking about that. He said, look, we were fortunate. We made a lot of money at a very young age, and we very quickly learned that it, you know, it didn't make our lives any better. Like you know, and the guy's like, would you be happy without it? And George Harrison said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would assume that it's easy to get lost in that crazy success. So
yeah.
So
many people do it for that reason, you know.
Right.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.